Yes, sir. What's up, good people? It's your boy, the boy Henry Heck, back at it. With another video. Today, I'll be going over this article. Speaking to Housemarque, Saros looks set to provide a less punishing experience than Returnal. Before I get off into it, appreciate you clicking the video. Hopefully, you stay throughout the whole thing. Drop a like, drop a comment, drop a subscribe at the end if you're feeling it. Now, let's get off into the meat and potatoes. 2026 preview. Housemarque's latest game appears to make some concessions with its upgrade system. Oh my goodness. Words by shout out to Jordan. Shout out to the Middler, not to be confused with the Diddler. But let's get off into it. Many PlayStation fans will tell you that Returnal is still the best first-party game PlayStation hath released this generation. It's a hard as nails bullet hell roguelike that combines gothic horror with sci-fi hard. Sci-fi not soft, not medium. Well, blue chewed up sci-fi, baby. And it's absolutely fantastic. Now, I bought this game, the deluxe edition, day one, and I got my ass beat to sleep at every turn. I just could not get with it. It's another game I do want to jump back into and, beat, because what I did play was fun, and a lot of people inside the community had put forth like tips and tricks and hints and etc., to help you get along throughout the journey. I just hadn't jumped back off into it, you know what I mean? But I do need to, and Saros is a game I am interested in, so I would like to get that done before it jumps off. You feel what I'm saying? The game, developed by Finnish studio Housemarque, was the first big budget console game from the veteran studio. After cutting their teeth on arcade style games like the well-loved Resogun, which launched alongside the PS4. The Resogun was dope. I did play that. I did complete that. It was a spaceship kind of game, bullet hell. It's kind of interesting, the layout of it. I actually beat it on the PS Vita. Shout out to the Vita boys. We up. However, while Returnal is much loved by an incredible hardcore audience, it's a small audience. While horror games are having a moment in the spotlight, Returnal may have been slightly over the top for some. The game, which in some ways makes Souls-like titles look like Bluey, the video game, has a long list of victims that didn't get beyond the first boss and therefore didn't get to experience the game's excellent story or world design. And I did make it past the first boss. I made it past the first boss. It took me a while. I actually didn't make it past to like the next day after release, but I was able to do that. The next game from Housemarque, Saros, looks to show the rest of the world what they missed. Oh my goodness, how did I do that? Once again, Saros is a third-person shooter that melds bullet hell games with modern roguelites. However, Saros doesn't appear to be going for quite as punishing an atmosphere as its older brother or older sister. You feel? This time, players will be given far more options to upgrade their suit and their weaponry, offering a sense of permanent progression that was missing from Returnal for many. Now, I do like this. Returnal did have ways to tune your build, and customize your build with the, I forget what they call, like they were kind of like parasites, and they would give you certain trade-offs. You get benefits, but you would also get a negative. So it was up to you to pick how you want to go about that, which ones you wanted to use, which ones you didn't want to use. I think you could equip up to like 6 or 8, somewhere around there. So you could really have a unique build inside of there. The game stars Rahul Kohli as Arjun Devraj, and we'll also see the return of Jane Perry. Shout out to Jane Perry, who plays Celine in Returnal. In the game's most recent trailer, we get the best glimpse of the game's story and the planet that Devraj will explore. And it was a dope little scene right there. I do appreciate them, showing a little more, but not too much. You gotta. It's a nice tease. You feel me? The Raj team, which appears to be made up of colonists exploring the hostile planet of Carcosa, has no way to get home. His team is turning on each other, and Devraj himself has lost track of how long he's been separated from his team. Goodness gracious. This time, players will be given far more options to upgrade their suit and their weapon, offering a sense of permanent progression. Okay, Returnal's narrative structure was unconventional and obtuse, so much so that there are players who finished the game who couldn't quite tell you what was going on. While it was very rewarding to pick at narrative threads in Returnal, it felt almost compulsory to watch an explainer video afterwards to see what you missed. Now, that's one thing I don't like. I don't like the idea of, engaging in an experience and putting so much time into it, and on the tail end of it still feeling like you lost. Still feeling like it's some things you didn't, that weren't explained in the best way. And in the narrative, because that's what, yes, it was roguelike, yes, it was bullet hell, but it's still a narrative experience. So in my mind, they kind of fell short in delivering that story if after completing the game, I then still have to run to YouTube. You know what I mean? Saros should look to tell a story that's just as rich, but perhaps less impenetrable, matching the friendlier approach is seemingly taken with gameplay. There also seems to be a much larger cast in Saros when compared to Returnal, which may aid in making the story clearer, and that's a plus. That's a plus. But also, you have to make sure that each of these characters inside of here are written extremely well. You don't want to have any lackluster characters. And also you have to also maintain that complexity and integrity and personality of that main character also. So you got a balance in that, because sometimes we see where side characters overshadow that main character. And you don't really want it, especially in a game like this, you don't really want that. You want the star of the show to be the star of the show. And that's just my opinion about it. Some people may feel differently, but I feel like if you have a side character, some people will be like, oh, well, that's just great writing. That's just great writing. I'm like, man, you don't want the star to be outshined, in my opinion. Carrying on though. Saros' biggest success will be if it offers players an entry point into the type of game and then makes them go back to visit Returnal. Much like Dark Souls 3, relative lack of difficulty brought a wider number of players into the series, which would then go on to culminate with the massive success of Elden Ring. Saros could be the game that gives Returnal the chance to reemerge as the underplayed gem that it is, and that's true. Depending on how good of a job they do with this, it could cause for people to run back to it, or people who felt as though it was too hard, so they weren't even gonna try it, they weren't even gonna buy it, to go pick it up. And you did see a bit of that with Elden Ring. A lot of people who checked out Elden Ring, time to go play some Bloodborne, time to go play some Sekiro. You know what I'm saying? So sequels do have the power to do that and continue to grow. I don't want to say grow the franchise, because it's different games, but to grow the fan base of the genre. You know what I mean? We don't want Saros to make things so easy that players are able to totally overlevel themselves and negate the skill curve that's always been key to a bullet hell genre, but there's a happy medium. As much as we love it, the barrier to entry of Returnal is significant. It was indeed. While there's little information about the story of Saros out there, the storytelling from Returnal makes us extremely keen to explore a brand new world and scan everything we can for more context. If Housemarque can pair that with another incredible soundtrack, then Returnal's fans will surely be pleased, even if this game isn't going to batter them over the head with a giant malice as much as the first game did. And this is one thing too that was coming up, where people felt like altering the difficulty or making it easier will kind of take away from what Returnal presented, what Returnal was able to do. But at the same time, you got to understand that the developers want as many people to play it as they can get to play it. You know what I mean? And it's a balancing act in doing that, because you don't want to water it down too much to where it's just a third-person shooter. Nothing special about it. You still want to maintain a bit of that integrity of what made Housemarque stand out in the genre, what made Returnal stand out in the genre. Common complaints about it was too difficult. So maybe they put the pedal to the metal a little too far and they could ease up a bit. And again, we don't know how much easier they're gonna make it. They could also make it quote unquote easier through mechanics. You know, you see the shield mechanic. There's probably gonna be other things in there you'll be able to leverage to get through the levels more efficiently or more easier. Not necessarily that the AI is gonna be stupid, not necessarily that it's gonna be less bullets or the enemy's gonna be less quick or different things of this nature. I mean, a lot of times we see something being made easier and we just automatically assume easy mode. And that's not necessarily always the case. There's probably gonna be some tweaks here and there they're gonna make and different things they're gonna give you access to in order to, you know what I mean? Because they might give you different save points or checkpoints within the level. You know what I mean? That could be deemed as making it slightly easier without throwing in the easy mode. And yeah, that's as far as we got right here as far as what they present. But I'm looking forward to it. And with what they said, also, I'm one of the individuals where I'm gonna go back. I think a lot of people will go back, and I think also with them presenting this and making it a more digestible situation, it'll create a kind of relationship to where between developer and consumer, to where when they try Returnal, even if it is more difficult, they'll be more likely to stick with it. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of, I don't know how you'd even explain it, but in finishing Saros or playing through Saros and it being more digestible, it'll make Returnal a more easier step up. You know what I'm saying? Like, because usually when you get a sequel, you do get a step up in, you know, challenge or mechanics or whatever. So coming from Saros, it could present that stepping stone to get to the Returnal. That's pretty much all I was trying to say. It took me a minute to get that. I couldn't get my stuff together, but that's all I got for you right now. I just really want to touch on that. Drop a like, drop a comment. How you feel about it? Is it something you're gonna pick up? Does it make you want to jump back into Returnal? Drop, subscribe. Catch y'all outside next one.